Cuba, a place distraught by the cruel reign of its dictator, Fidel Castro. Many Cubans have desperately tried to leave. Many never make it. In 1995, however, thousands of Cubans left their homes and continue to this day. They are driven by a policy that allows Cubans to stay in the US if they reach its mainland. For this reason, many Cubans frantically attempt the dangerous journey on boats and either make it to the safety and freedom, or are lost at sea forever.
Él nunca nos habló de eso hasta que me enteré que sí, que él trataba de irse. Yo sé que a mi hermano lo sacaron de la balsa como le pasó a muchos, que lo sacaban los delincuentes, lo sacaban de la balsa para montarse ellos. Parece que se valieron de los más nobles para bajarlo de la balsa. Y él, como es noble, parece que no hizo resistencia y se bajó.
Since the start of Fidel Castro's revolution in 1959, more than 750,000 Cubans migrated to the United States. Also, in the year 1980, the Murrell boat lift brought more than 125,000 migrants to the US. In 1994, the Balsedo crisis caused a mass migration of another 37,191 migrants. In 1994, 37,000 migrants took to the Florida Straits after Mr. Castro announced that his government would no longer stop boats or rafts leaving the island. It was a hostile move against the United States and a way for Mr. Castro to divert attention from his domestic problems and quell an uprising against him on the island.
Many of the Cuban migrants are paying thousands of dollars to smugglers who whisk them across the Florida Straits on speedboats, many of which never make it to the Florida shore. Although only 90 miles of water separate Cuba and the United States, migrants encounter storms, the U.S. Coast Guard, and other boats, as well as deviation. There were probably not more than 50,000 Cuban Americans before Fidel Castro's Cuban Revolution of 1959. In the decades that have followed, some 750,000 Cubans have fled to the United States and have made their presence felt culturally, economically, and politically. The vast majority of these were almost automatically granted refugee status, more than from any other nation.
Carlos Ramirez worries about the future and what it will bring. Marisa Ramirez worries about her children's fate. Lucky for Carlos, he has friends in Florida. They have sent him a passage, a friend who is willing to drive them to Florida.
During some periods, as during the Mariel boat lift of 1980, Castro's government encouraged many dissidents to leave, but more often it made emigration difficult. Many recent exiles have crossed the dangerous waters in flimsy boats and rafts, and some have perished at sea. The first post-Castro refugees were members of the upper and middle classes. Subsequent exiles have been less elite, but the very poor Afro-Cubans have been very underrepresented.
Bueno, la razón que yo vine fue por la dictadura que teníamos en nuestro país, que todavía, por desgracia, tenemos todavía. Y se presentó la oportunidad, los vuelos que cuando Fidel abrió Camarioca, porque parece que él de vez en cuando hacía eso para que, como una válvula, para que se fueran un poco de personas que habían disidentes, que se querían ir. Después dejó unos vuelos que decían los vuelos de la libertad.
In a lot of ways, Castro manufactures these immigration crises because it suits his needs. He's diabolical, but he's not dumb. And he sees the advantage of allowing people to leave. There's a significant difference between what their Constitution guarantees them in terms of rights and freedoms and what they actually receive.
My goal is to get to the United States. It's become an obsession, and you don't care anymore if you become shark bait.
At first, almost all assumed that Castro would soon be overthrown, but after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion of 1961, backed by the United States and manned by Cuban exiles, and the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, Castro's survival was assured by an informal agreement between the United States and the Soviet Union. Ironically, Castro has outlasted the Soviet Union.
Perdidos, ¿no? Control y invasión. ¿Dónde estás? Bienvenidos a Puerto Rico. ¿Dónde están tus papeles? Well, that's too bad. Don't worry, I'll take you home.
Y mi opinión es esa, que todo el mundo tenga la misma libertad que tengo yo, pero que sea legalmente.
More than half the population in Florida consists of Cubans. So was this a success? Partly. The wet foot dry foot policy is a success because it avoided further conflicts with Castro and it allowed Cubans to live better lives. It was also a failure because it feeds the Castro regime in manipulating the US and it gives Cubans the false hope that they can make it to the US without injury when thousands of Cubans die crossing and continue to do so to this day.
Me siento muy bien en este país, muy realizada, porque yo vine buscando una libertad, quería traer mis hijos, entonces trabajando, vivo aquí tranquila, somos personas humildes, pero no hemos carecido de nada nunca. Y entonces ellos me dicen: mami, lo más grande que tú has hecho con nosotros es traernos de Cuba. Ya con eso nosotros tenemos de sobra.